Namaste, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Life can seem full of obstacles and problems we need to solve. And I have been talking quite a bit about this in my latest videos. And this is because a lot of people share their suffering with me. The anxieties, the fears, in comments in my videos or email or in live. And it really touches my heart. And I feel I just want to respond to that right away. And also in my own family, we are facing the same problems. We don't know what our future is going to look like. So I think it is a sentiment that a lot of us share. But I also want to share with you today, this is what I really want to share with you today, is that all of these things are an opportunity for. And they really happen so that we gain more clarity about the nature of who we really are and why we are really here. All struggle comes from your own self, in the highest sense, the absolute being that knows no suffering, no fear, and that is calling you home. Because it is your time to awaken, to outgrow the perspective of the person and all its limitations. From the perspective of the person, the struggle that we call life seems very real. Most of our endeavors are towards financial security and finding someone to share life with. And if this doesn't happen, suffering occurs. We share these two basic instincts with most animals: to secure food and shelter and procreation, and to find companionship. But somehow, when we appear in this human form, we are not as easily satisfied as the animals. We might have food and shelter and even a relationship, but somehow it never seems enough. The animals do not experience this. They do not sit down and cry because they feel dissatisfied, or they do not ponder on their life and how it could be better or different in some way. This is particular to the human form because it is meant for awakening. It is our own choice. As long as we postpone this realization, there will be suffering of one kind or another. In this light, all struggle and suffering really is your own self saying, hey, don't waste time anymore. Don't identify with lesser than what you are. Remember what you really came here for. This is why suffering is often proportional to our desire to awaken. A lot of people are quite content to live life from the perspective of the person, and they accept obstacles and suffering as part of life. But when you are called to awaken, suffering often begins to feel unbearable because you know it is not what you really are. And it's very easy to confirm this for yourself. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you have done meditation, silent contemplation, self-inquiry, and at the very least, it has given you a sense of relief. If not an intimate recognition about something very true about yourself. A sense of peace that has no end. A space that has no confinement. A beingness that needs nothing to be content, but it is its own natural state. And even when we are pulled back into the temptations of the perspective of the person and our mind's projections about an imaginary past or future, this memory will never leave you. You will never forget about it. Once you have tasted the immensity of who we really are, there is no way back. In fact, no one who has reached enlightenment ever regretted it and went back to identifying as a person. Because this is when all suffering ends. It is the only way that all suffering will end. Somehow for a while we seem to enjoy the suffering and are even addicted to it. That contrast between yin and yang, the excitement it creates, the thrill. But when you begin to suffer your suffering, then you are ready for awakening. And you cannot fail. You can fail in most things in life, but to awaken is what you already are and what you came here for. This is why all of life is in support of this. This is why when we really take the time to look and see, who am I? Life begins to flow harmoniously. All the antagonisms, the obstacles begin to soften and eventually fall away. This doesn't mean that there are no problems in life. But when the perspective shifts from the one who needs to solve the problems and who is separate to consciousness, in which all things appear, we do not suffer them or even perceive them as such. Consciousness has no problems. You can imagine it like a Russian doll. All the different layers represent the limitations of the person. And as you begin to strip them away, you are moving closer and closer to the core of who you really are. You begin to separate between emotions and thoughts and experiences and who you really are. You can observe them rather than identify with them. And then you're moving even into this space beyond form that is not concerned at all. Not in the sense of not caring, but rather, if there is no duality or separation, who is there to be concerned? This space in which everything appears is not dead or void. It is very alive and fresh because everything appears inside of it, but it is not bound by anything. These words can be hard to comprehend with the mind. In fact, they cannot be understood with the mind. So we have to be brave and move from the mind into the heart. Be totally defenseless. To see that what we are needs no protection. Let go of the need to control, to name everything and understand it rationally. Be empty and open, and simply let it all happen in its own natural, perfect way. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, and if you like, subscribe to my channel so we can stay connected. All my love to you.